He closes the door with a calm smile while the lock clicks from the outside. The sound lands clean and final, a soft metal punctuation that seals the room into something smaller than it was a second ago, and I stand there in the narrow spill of light, wondering when spaces learn to take sides. We're just off the hotel ballroom, a service corridor dressed up with beige walls, and a smell of lemon cleaner, close enough to hear the murmur of voices through the drywall, far enough that no one is looking in. Ethan's shoulder blocks the doorway for a beat before he steps back. Palms open, the picture of reason. "It's just for a minute," he says, voice level the same tone he uses when explaining zoning delays to investors. "We don't need a scene." I take in the wireless mic on the folding table to my left, its smooth black body resting beside a coil of cable red indicator dark. The immediate goal settles in my chest. Without drama, get out of this room, without turning myself into a problem. "I'm not making a scene," I say, keeping my hands visible. He tilts his head as if listening to a child, eyes flicking once to the door, then back to my face. "You don't understand," he says. "This is about timing." He gestures to the mic. They're about to start. The air hums faintly, HVAC breathing behind the walls, and I feel the floor's subtle vibration as the crowd shifts on the other side. I test the handle with 2 fingers. It doesn't move. "Open it," I say. He smiles again, smaller this time. "In a minute." He reaches past me and straightens the mic cable, an unnecessary courtesy, then taps the table with his knuckle. "You're upset. Let's not do this publicly." The phrase lands with weight because it's always landed that way, because public is where control loosens. I angle my body so I'm not cornered, keeping the table between us. "I need to step out," I say. He shakes his head once. "Not yet." He says my name then softly, as if names still mean access. "Security's tight. We can't have confusion." I glance at the mic again, imagining it alive, imagining a voice carried into the room I can hear but not see. Confusion for who I ask. He exhales patience on display. "For everyone." He looks past me at the wall, at the place where the hallway turns calculating sight lines. "You're better off here." He moves closer, lowering his voice. "Trust me." Trust used to mean something solid. Now it feels like a word you put over a gap to pretend it's bridged. I step sideways, testing space. He mirrors me, casual blocking without touching. "Don't," he says quietly. "We're on a schedule." The cruelty is in the calm, in the way he keeps his hands open. I reach for the mic and he reacts instantly, palm coming down over it, not hard, just decisive. "No," he says, a single syllable with a policy behind it. "That's not yours." The consequence is immediate. His phone buzzes, he checks it, then looks up with a nod, as if a clock just approved him. 2 minutes, he says. "Then I'll walk you out." I hear laughter through the wall, a wave cresting, then settling. Someone tests a microphone in the ballroom. The sound bleeds through, thin and distant. My heart ticks faster, but my voice stays flat. "Open the door," I repeat. He leans back against it, crossing his ankles, relaxed. "You always do this," he says, soft enough to sound like concern. "You push at the wrong moment." I take in his badge, clipped to his jacket pocket the way it catches the overhead light. "Say it again," I tell him, keeping my eyes on the latch. "Your title is husband, not handler." His jaw tightens just for a second. "Watch it," he says. "This isn't the place." He glances at the mic again, then at me, then at the door. "Please." The word is almost convincing. I picture the room on the other side, rows of chairs, a stage, faces turned forward. I picture how easy it would be to make a sound that doesn't belong. The mic's weight sits in my hand now because I picked it up when he looked away, because I move when people assume stillness. I realize the door isn't the cage. The schedule is, and he's counting on it. He straightens, seeing the shift. "Put it down," he says. "Laura." He uses my name again like a key. "You're not cleared." I set the mic back on the table, slow, careful. "Clearance isn't consent," I say. His smile disappears. The HVAC hum seems louder. Somewhere applause starts and stops a test run. He pushes off the door and steps closer, lowering his voice to something meant to be kind. "You're safe," he says. "Let me handle this." The door handle rattles once as someone passes outside, a shadow moving under the frame. He doesn't move to open it. I shift my weight, noting the cable's reach, the table's position, the way the mic could roll. My goal narrows to seconds. He checks his phone again, then nods to himself. Time, he says, hand on the latch at last, fingers tightening. The mic waits on the table, and I decide how loud this minute will become. I'm Laura Bennett, 38, a nonprofit compliance coordinator from Arlington, Virginia. And before everything narrowed into rules and locks, I believed routines could protect you. It was early evening in our townhouse, the kind of hour where the light lingers politely before leaving, and I was standing in the hallway with my shoes still on because Ethan had asked me not to walk on the rug yet, not until it dried, not until things were just right. The door latch chain was new, a thin line of metal I didn't remember approving, hanging from the frame like a suggestion rather than a command, and my immediate goal was small and domestic. Get past him to the kitchen without turning a conversation into a hearing. It's temporary, he said, adjusting the chain with 2 fingers, metal whispering as it slid. The contractor recommended it. I nodded, because nodding keeps days moving. Recommended for what I asked. He smiled, that practiced calm that made rooms cooperate. Security. He glanced at his phone, then at the front door. There's a lot going on. I took a step, and the chain caught the light, a thin sparkle that felt out of place in a house that had always been open by habit. We've never had an issue, I said. We have now, he replied, gentle as policy. Just until things settle. The hallway light stopped halfway across the floor, a clean line dividing the runner into bright and dim. And I noticed it without naming it, because naming makes things real. Can I grab water, I asked. I'll get it, he said quickly, already moving. You sit. I didn't sit. I leaned against the wall, pressing my thumb into my ring finger, counting breaths. You don't need to manage me, I said. He turned back with a glass, set it down on the console table, and didn't move the chain. I'm not managing, he said. I'm anticipating. His phone buzzed again. He read, then tucked it away. Who's texting, I asked. Work, he said too fast. Always work, I said, keeping my voice flat. You know how it is. He reached for the chain again, testing it, then looked at me. Don't start, he said softly. Start what I asked. This, he said, gesturing between us like a diagram. Tonight's not the night. The cruelty was quiet, dressed as concern. I stepped closer to the door and he shifted with me, a mirror that pretended to be coincidence. I need some air, I said. Open it. He shook his head once. Not yet. Why? Because you'll ask questions in front of people, he said. Because you'll embarrass yourself. Or you, I said. He laughed a short sound. You're overreacting. He tapped the chain. It's a safety measure. I looked at the metal, at how easily it could be undone, at how easily it could be justified. Say it again, I said quietly, eyes on the latch. Your role is husband, not gatekeeper. His jaw tightened. Watch your tone, he said. You're not in a meeting. Then stop running one, I said. He sighed, the long-suffering executive. Laura, please. He used my name like a balm. Trust me. Trust was the habit I was trying to break. Open the door, I said again. He didn't. Instead, he checked the time, then the window, calculating. 10 minutes, he said. Then we'll talk. We're talking now, I said. He smiled, indulgent. Not like this. He reached out and adjusted a picture frame on the wall, a tiny correction that felt like a warning. You're tired, he said. You've been on edge. I'm paying attention, I said. There's a difference. He picked up the glass, held it out. Drink, he said. You'll feel better. Open the door, I said. Stop repeating yourself, he replied. It's not helpful. The chain rattled as someone outside passed footsteps on the stoop, a neighbor's laugh life moving without permission. I moved closer, fingers brushing the latch, and he stepped in, blocking without touching. Don't, he said, voice low. You don't want this to escalate. Escalate to what I asked. To consequences, he said, eyes steady. Read the house rules out loud, I said, a thin smile. The room should hear them. He stiffened. That's not funny. Neither is confinement, I said. He glanced at his phone again, then nodded as if reassured by something invisible. You're safe, he said. "Let me handle it." Handle what I thought, but I didn't ask. I watched the light line on the floor, the way it refused to move, and I felt the first shift inside me, the one where endurance starts to look like consent. The hallway light cuts the floor in half, and I understand who decides which side I stand on. "I'm going out," I said, reaching for the latch. He caught my wrist, not hard, just enough to redirect and let go immediately like a courtesy. "Don't make me the bad guy," he said. "You're doing that yourself," I said. He stepped back, hands up. "Fine," he said. 5 minutes. He loosened the chains a fraction, not enough to open, just enough to show power. I stepped away, heart-steady mind, cataloging small changes, new hardware, new language, new rules. He watched me like a problem that could be contained with timing. I took a breath, felt the house settle, and decided that noticing was no longer enough. The chain gleamed softly, and I learned how quietly a home can become. The planning office smelled like toner and coffee that had gone thin, a narrow room behind the ballroom where schedules hardened into rules, and I moved through it as if I belonged, because that's how access works, when people assume you won't ask for more than you're given. The folded guest list sat on the counter near the printer, creased twice and tucked under a paperweight shaped like a glass cube, and my immediate goal was simple and surgical: confirm whether my exclusion was an error or a decision. "Can I grab the updated copy?" I asked the coordinator, keeping my voice neutral. "We already sent final," she said, fingers hovering over the keyboard. "It's locked. I just need to verify a spelling," I said. She hesitated. "Which name?" "Mine," I said, smiling. She glanced at the door, then at her screen. "It's not personal," she said quickly. "Read the clause out loud," I said softly, nodding at the policy binder. "The room should hear it." She frowned. "That's not necessary?" "Then it's not necessary to deny me a look," I replied. She slid the list toward me just enough. I lifted it, feeling the paper's stiffness where it had been refolded. "You have 5 minutes," she said. "Actually 2, a man behind me added, checking his watch. "We're cutting wristbands at the side entrance." I stepped aside to the narrow window, unfolded the list, once then again, eyes moving fast. Names were grouped by table numbers, neat and confident. Mine was there on the first draft. I knew it by muscle memory, by where it always sat. On this copy, it was gone. "That's odd," I said, turning the page. "It was there yesterday." "People change," the man said. "Say it again, your title is coordinator, not guest," he added, not looking up. I felt the first fracture open, small but precise. I checked the footer, a tiny ref code printed in gray L7Q9. I looked at the header location back office. I looked at the timestamp in the corner, 11:42 a.m., and felt my stomach tighten because Ethan had been with me, then had said he was driving, had complained about traffic. This version replaced the morning file, the coordinator said, voice rising. "Who approved it?" I asked. "We got an email," she said. "From where?" "From the development team," she replied, vague. I pulled my phone, not to confront, just to align. The messages from Ethan showed a gap, a neat absence, right where the change would have happened. "Can you print the earlier copy?" I asked. "We don't keep them," she said. "They overwrite." "Overwriting requires intent," I said. She stiffened. "I don't make the rules." "No," I said, folding the list back into thirds, pressing the crease where my name should have been. "You follow them." A security lead leaned in, badge catching the fluorescent light. "Is there a problem?" he asked. "There is," I said, meeting his eyes. "A mismatch." He glanced at the list. "Names change," he repeated. "Not at 11:42, I said. "Not without a trail." He shrugged. "Take it up with your husband." The word landed like a gavel. "He doesn't own the ledger," I said. "He owns the building," the coordinator whispered, almost apologetic. "Your badge is blue," the security lead said to me. "Mine is cleared. Don't pretend." The consequence was immediate. He stepped closer, narrowing space. "I just need to note the discrepancy," I said, calm. "Please don't copy anything," the coordinator said. "I'm not copying," I said, folding the paper tighter, imprinting the ref code with my thumb. "I'm noticing." The printer whirred to life behind us, spitting a wristband strip bright and new. "We're done here," the security lead said. "Hand it back." I returned the list, keeping my fingers on it a second longer than polite. He took it, slid it under the cube. "If you have concerns," he said, "email operations." "Operations answers to timing," I said. "Truth doesn't." He snorted. "That's not how events work. It is when access is the weapon," I replied. The coordinator looked between us, eyes flicking to the door. "I'll make a note," she said, typing. "Make sure you include the ref code," I said. "And the time." She froze. "Which time?" "The one that doesn't fit," I said. The folded list proves my name vanished in a narrow window. He swore he was elsewhere. The security lead exhaled. "You're causing a delay," he said. "Delays reveal choices," I replied. He gestured to the hall. "Please leave." I stepped out, heart-steady mind cataloging the cost I had been seen measured, marked as inconvenient. In the corridor, a staffer clipped wristbands with efficient snaps, colors sorting people into lanes. I watched a blue band pass to a guest who smiled unbothered. My phone buzzed. Ethan all set. I typed back nothing. I folded the memory of L7Q9 into my pocket, a small code with sharp edges, and walked toward the ballroom as applause swelled, rehearsed and loud, counting how many minutes he thought he still had. I slip the ref code into my pocket, and the schedule begins to work for me. The lobby lights are too bright for secrets, a whitewash that makes faces legible and mistakes expensive, and I step into it with the practiced calm of someone who knows how public rooms punish hesitation. Victor Ramirez stands near the AV cart, fingers resting on the projector remote like it's a pulse point, and my immediate goal sharpens to a single line: observe without triggering correction. Ethan is already there, jacket smooth, badge clipped, just so laughing with two board members as phones lift and lower around us in casual arcs. "We're 5 minutes out," Victor says to no one, and everyone eyes flicking to the doors. "Run through only." "Perfect," Ethan replies. "Let's keep it clean." I take a position near the column where the guest list table is staged, a stack of wristbands arranged by color, a clipboard angled for speed. Blue at side entrance, a volunteer calls. Green for press. The sound of it cuts through me. I watch names move from paper to wrist with mechanical trust. "Laura," Ethan says, turning smile ready. "Did you find what you needed?" "I found a pattern," I say lightly. "Patterns are tricky," he replies. "They look like intent when they're just logistics." Victor clears his throat. "Projector's hot," he says. "This is a test." The screen flares to life behind us, a grid of tables briefly visible before someone laughs and shushes the room. "Oh, don't," Ethan says, waving it off. "We're not there yet." "Just checking alignment," Victor says. "Alignment matters," Ethan agrees. I step closer to the guest list, fingers brushing the top page. "Which version is this?" I ask the volunteer. "Final," she says. "Seat numbers locked. Locked when I ask." She hesitates. "This morning." "Say it again," I say softly. "The time." "Late morning," she says, glancing at Ethan. He steps in smoothly. "We had to make adjustments," he says. "Read the clause out loud." I say, nodding at the policy placard taped to the table. The room should hear it. Laughter ripples, then thins. "This isn't the moment," Ethan says quietly. "Public isn't your friend." "Public is the ledger," I reply. Victor's eyes meet mine. He taps the remote once, and the screen flashes the guest list header for a heartbeat enough. Table numbers pop into focus, names scrolling past. Mine isn't there. Someone in the back says, "Huh." Another voice, "That's weird." The witness wave moves exactly as it always does. Curiosity, then silence. "Turn it off," Ethan says, sharper now. Victor hesitates. "It's just alignment," he says. "We're done," Ethan says. "Now." Victor clicks. The screen goes dark. Blue wristband, a volunteer calls, snapping one closed. I lean in. "Which table is Laura Bennett?" I ask loud enough. The volunteer flips pages, color rising in her cheeks. I don't see." "Because it was removed," I say. "After 11:40. Ethan laughs brittle. "You're speculating," he says. "Read the header," I say. "Back office. Ref L7Q9. A murmur spreads. That's not appropriate, Ethan says, stepping closer, hand hovering near my elbow without touching. Your badge is blue, a security lead says to me, appearing at his shoulder. Mine is cleared. Don't pretend. The consequence lands immediately. Bodies shift a loose semicircle, forming phones lifting again. Which wristband color authorizes removal? I ask the security lead. Green, he says automatically, then stops. And which color did you assign me, I ask. He looks at the volunteer. Blue, she whispers. Then who approved the change, I ask? Ethan cuts in. This is an operational matter, he says. We'll handle it privately. Privately is how it happened, I say. Victor clears his throat again. We should reset, he says. Doors in 2. Ethan nods. Reset. He turns to me, voice low. You're causing confusion. Confusion reveals the mechanism, I say. Open the list. No, he says. We're moving. He steps toward the door, signaling. The witness wave breaks into avoidance. People look away, pretend to check messages. A woman near the column whispers, Did you see that? Another replies. The projector flickers just long enough for the room to notice my name missing and his certainty crack. We're done, the security lead says, palm out. Please step aside. Make a note, I say. Include the ref code and the time. He stiffens. You're delaying entry. Delay is the only lever left, I reply. Ethan's jaw tightens. Victor, he says, clipped. Walk us out. Victor hesitates, then gestures toward the corridor. I step back, heart-steady eyes on the doors as they swing open and swallow the crowd. Ethan leans in as we move. You think you won something, he murmurs. You've just made it harder. Harder for you, I say. For me, it's finally visible. The doors close behind us with a soft thud, applause swelling inside as if nothing happened, and I count the seconds he believes he still controls, while the lobby lights keep everything bright and unforgiving. The remote goes dark, but the room keeps the image and won't unsee it. The back office feels smaller after the lobby, its walls closing in with the quiet insistence of a place designed for decisions no one applauds. And I sit across from Marianne Cole with my hands folded because stillness reads as credibility. The sealed legal envelope rests between us on the table, heavy in a way paper shouldn't be, and my immediate goal clarifies into resolve, commit without flinching. You didn't imagine it, Marianne says, tapping the envelope once, not opening it. Timing changes leave trails. They try not to, I reply. They fail when they rush, she says. Her voice is even lawyer calm. What happened in the lobby helped. It made me visible, I say. Visibility creates leverage, she answers. I glance at the door at the frosted glass that blurs movement in the hall. What's in there, I ask. A notice, she says. And instructions. For who? For you, she says. And for the moment, you choose. She slides the envelope closer. Don't open it yet. The consequence lands immediately. My pulse steadies, my shoulders settle. Control loves delay, so does strategy. He'll push back, I say. He already has, she replies, which tells me he knows where this ends. I think of the hallway light at home, the line that wouldn't move. What's the risk, I ask? Escalation, she says, publicly. That's where he can't manage me, I say. Marianne nods. Then we choreograph. She lifts her phone, checks a message. Ops confirmed availability, she says. Victor will hold the stage when it matters. He hesitated, I say. Hesitation is a crack, she replies. We widen it. The door opens a fraction and a staffer peers in. 5 minutes, he says. We need the room. We'll be out, Marianne says, and the door closes. Evidence, I say. What's enough? Enough is when denial costs more than compliance, she says. You're close. I look at the envelope again. Why not open it? Because the first move is yours, she says. Once you read it, you'll want to act. I already want to, I say. She smiles brief. Wanting isn't acting. She stands smoothing her jacket. You'll get a message when the window opens. From you. From Ops, she says. Redundancy keeps people honest. My phone buzzes then, as if summoned. Ethan, we need to talk. There it is, Marianne says. He senses loss. He'll try to reframe, I say. He always does. Let him, she says, reframing as an admission. She slides the envelope into my bag herself, deliberate. If anyone asks, she says it's personal paperwork. It is, I say. Very. She pauses at the door. One more thing, she says. When he uses kindness, interrupt it. With what I ask. Specifics, she says. Policy hates poetry. She leaves me alone with the hum of the building and the weight in my bag. I stand testing my balance, then walk to the mirror by the sink. My face looks calm, eyes clear. I rinse my hands, dry them slowly, and think about how rules feel when they stop pretending to be neutral. In the hall, applause swells again, then cuts off sharply, someone testing volume. I step back into the corridor, the envelope pressing against my hip, like a promise I haven't read yet. Ethan appears at the end of the hall, smile ready, concern rehearsed. We should clear the air, he says. We should clear the record, I reply. He laughs soft. You're dramatic. I'm compliant, I say, with reality. His smile falters. Don't do this, he says. Do what I ask. Make it harder, he says. Harder for you, I reply. He steps closer, lowering his voice. You don't know the consequences. I do, I say. They're why I waited. The sealed envelope settles in my bag and I stop waiting for permission. The security office sat behind the service elevators, like a thought the building didn't want to have all matte gray walls and a hum that never quite faded, and I followed Victor inside with the measured steps of someone who knew how easily a room like this could close ranks. The time-stamped CCTV still lay on the desk, under a plastic sleeve. The image paused mid-motion, and my immediate goal tightened to a single action: verify before the window snapped shut. We don't have long, Victor said, glancing at the monitor bank. Doors open again in minutes. Minutes are enough, I replied, keeping my hands off the desk. He nodded once, fingers hovering over the mouse. This is from the side entrance, he said. Camera B17. He clicked, bringing the still full screen. A figure stood half-turned badge, catching the light, a wristband visible at the edge of the frame. That's not possible, I said. He said he was driving. People say things, Victor replied. Cameras don't. Marianne's voice came through my phone low and steady. I'm listening, she said. Read the details I told Victor, out loud. He cleared his throat. Location venue entrance, he said. Badge scan logged, wristband color green. He paused. Time of day stamp reads 11:42 a.m. My chest tightened because the number landed cleanly precise enough to cut. He texted me at 11:40, I said. Complained about traffic. Traffic doesn't badge in, Victor said. Scroll, Marianne said. Victor did the still giving way to a short clip that froze again as if the truth preferred stillness. Enhance, Marianne said. Victor hesitated. We can zoom, he said. That's it. Zoom, I repeated. He dragged the box. The badge edge sharpened, the initials near the clip resolved. That's his, I said. Say it, Marianne said. It's his badge, Victor said. Say it again. Your title is Ops Manager, not Magician. Marianne said, calm. Name what you see. Victor exhaled. It's Ethan Bennett, he said. The consequence arrived immediately. The hum felt louder, the room smaller, my pulse steadier. He told me he wasn't here, I said. Then he lied. Marianne replied. Or he delegated. Victor added. Read the wristband, I said. Green authorizes removal. Victor said automatically, then stopped. Which means Marianne said access with intent. Victor nodded. This still contradicts the log, he said. The log shows him off-site, which is why this matters, I said. Victor checked the hall camera. We're good, he said. For now. How long, I asked. He glanced at the corner clock. Until 6:18 p.m., he said. After that, feed cycle. We have 9 minutes, Marianne said. Enough to bind the contradiction. Victor hesitated. If this goes public, it will, I said. Not yet, Marianne corrected. First, we lock sequence. Victor clicked to export. I need authorization, he said. From who, I asked. From the person who signs off, he said. That's Ethan. Or Ops, Marianne said. Policy allows emergency preservation. Victor swallowed. Say it again, I said softly. The clause. He closed his eyes, then spoke. Emergency preservation when evidence risks deletion, he said. The room should hear it, Marianne added. Victor nodded and saved the progress bar inching forward like a held breath. If he asks, Victor said, I did this because the camera glitched. Don't lie for him, I said. Tell the truth for yourself. He met my eyes. I will, he said. My phone buzzed. Ethan, where are you? He's checking the perimeter, I said. He senses time. Then we compress it, Marianne said. Victor, send me the file. Secure channel, Victor said. Already set. He clicked again. Done. The still reappeared on the screen, frozen and undeniable. I stared at the cut of light across the floor where the monitor glow ended, faces split into brightness and shadow by a single line. The same light divides the room as the footage pauses and his alibi collapses in the glare. What about the rest, I asked. This binds, Marianne said. It anchors everything that follows. Victor checked the door. 2 minutes, he said. Then I have to move. You already moved, I said. That's the point. He gave a short, humorless laugh. You're good at this, he said. I'm compliant, I replied, with reality. The door handle rattled outside, a voice calling Victor's name. Go, Marianne said. I'll take it from here. Victor nodded, straightened his jacket, and left, closing the door with a careful click. I stood alone with the still on the screen, the badge glinting, the timestamp unarguable. Ethan's next text came through. We need to fix this. We will, I murmured, pocketing my phone. Marianne spoke again. He'll try kindness, she said. Interrupt it. With specifics, I said. Exactly. The screen dimmed as the feed cycled the image, vanishing like a held breath released. I stepped back into the corridor, the building louder now, applause bleeding through walls, the schedule reasserting itself. Ethan appeared at the corner, concern painted on. There you are, he said. I was worried. I was busy, I said. With what? Preservation, I replied. His eyes flicked, calculating. You're making assumptions, he said. Read the timestamp, I said. He smiled thinly. You don't understand how these systems work. They work, I said. That's the problem. He lowered his voice. Let's reset, he said. We can still keep this quiet. Quiet deletes people, I said. We're past that. He glanced toward the security office door. What did Victor show you? What he couldn't unsee, I replied. The crowd surged nearby. Doors opening, a wave of sound. Ethan stepped closer, trying to block my path with familiarity. Don't do this, he said. You'll regret it. I regret waiting, I said, not acting. His jaw tightened. You're forcing my hand, he said. No, I said. You forced mine at 11:42. He went still. That's not. It is, I said. He looked away, first a small thing that felt enormous. I walked past him toward the light, the time stamped, still secured where he couldn't touch it. The contradiction now, a weight he had to carry. The paused frame locks him in place, and I step forward while his story stays frozen. The corridor checkpoint sat where the carpet changed color, and people started paying attention to who belonged. A narrow throat of movement managed by habit, and a man with a clipboard, and I stepped into it with my shoulders back because confidence reads like clearance when no one has time to argue. The security wristband lay in a shallow tray on the folding table, bright under the overhead lights, and my immediate goal tightened into sequence seat authority without triggering retreat. Hold up, the guard said, palm out. Wristband. Which color? I asked. Blue for guests, he replied. Green for staff and access. And which one authorizes list changes? I asked. He frowned. Green. I nodded. Good. I reached into my bag and pulled out the sealed legal envelope, just enough to show paper, not content. I'm here on counsel, I said. We need to verify an entry. Say it again. Your badge is blue, he said, tapping his own green band. Mine is cleared. Don't pretend. The consequence landed immediately. People behind me slowed, eyes flicking. Then let's pretend less, I said. Show me the log. He hesitated, glancing toward the ballroom doors, where sound spilled in waves. We don't do that here, he said. Read the clause out loud, I said softly. Emergency verification when access disputes arise. He stared. Who told you that policy did? I replied. A woman with a headset leaned over. What's the delay? She asked. Verification, I said. We'll be quick. She rolled her eyes. We're on a schedule. Schedules create mistakes, I said. Mistakes create liability. That got her attention. Fine, she said. 2 minutes. The guard flipped the clipboard open, pages fluttering. I leaned in, scanning initials and times, noting the way entries stacked neatly until they didn't. Here, I said, tapping a line. Wristband green. Entry at the side entrance. He followed my finger. That's standard, he said. Read the time, I said. He squinted. 11:42. Who was logged off site at that time? I asked. He looked up. I don't know. You do, I said. You signed it. He swallowed. Names aren't required, he said. Initials are, I replied, pointing. Those initials match his. He stiffened. You're accusing I'm sequencing, I said. My phone buzzed once, then again. Marianne Authority on standby. Do not escalate yet. I slipped the phone back. We just need to mark the discrepancy, I said. Then you can keep traffic moving. The woman with the headset sighed. Mark it, she said. Then we're done. The guard hesitated, then wrote a small note in the margin, the pen scratching louder than it should have. Done, he said. Happy accurate, I replied. Ethan's voice cut in from behind me, smooth and irritated. What's going on? He smiled for the crowd that wasn't there yet. We're holding things up. We're aligning records, I said without turning. There's a mismatch. There's always a mismatch, he said. Say it again, I said, meeting his eyes. Your title is Developer, not Adjudicator. His smile thinned. You're out of bounds. Boundaries are written, I said. We're reading them. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. You don't need to do this. You needed me not to, I replied. He glanced at the clipboard, then away. Victor should have called me, he said. Victor did his job, I said. Now you can do yours. The guard cleared his throat. We need to move people, he said. Open the lane, the woman with the headset snapped. Wristbands snapped closed, blue after blue, the sound mechanical and relentless. Ethan leaned in. You're putting everyone on edge, he murmured. Edges reveal structure, I said. This isn't the place, he said. It is exactly the place, I replied. My phone buzzed again. Marianne. She's here if needed. Wait for the room. I nodded slightly, a private signal. Ethan watched my face, calculating. What are you planning? He asked. Compliance, I said. With truth. He laughed quietly. You think this log means anything? It means sequence, I said. Sequence becomes proof. He straightened, putting space between us as people flowed through the checkpoint. We'll discuss this later, he said. We already are, I replied. The guard closed the clipboard with a soft thud. You're clear, he said to me, uncertain. Blue, he added, gesturing. I didn't move. One more thing, I said. Who authorized the wristband color change? He hesitated. It came down, he said. From who? From Ops, he said. Ops answers to logs, I replied. Logs answer to light. He frowned. I don't like this, he said. Neither do lies, I said. Ethan exhaled sharply. Enough, he said. You're making a spectacle. Not yet, I said. Just a record. He leaned close, voice tight. You don't know what you're doing. I know exactly, I said. I waited. He pulled back, eyes flicking to the doors as applause surged again. We're opening the headset, woman said. Clear the lane. People moved, momentum reclaiming the space. Ethan stepped aside, giving me room as if granting something. After he said, After the room, I replied. He watched me go, the calculation unfinished. The guard reopened the clipboard to the marked page, staring at the note he'd written, as if it might erase itself. The wristband's wrong color glows under the lights, and the log refuses to forget who let him through. The quiet room off the service hall has the kind of acoustics that forgive whispers and punish lies, and I close the door behind me with care because sound is evidence when you let it be. The audio recorder sits on the narrow table between two chairs, small and unremarkable, its red light steady, and my immediate goal sharpens into capture. Let him speak, without knowing he's performing. Ethan arrives a second later, smoothing his jacket like a reflex, eyes scanning the space. "This is unnecessary," he says, glancing at the door. "We can talk anywhere." "Anywhere has witnesses," I reply, keeping my voice level. "You prefer control," he scoffs. "You're dramatic." I tap the recorder once, not to start it. It's already running, but to anchor the moment. "Sit," I say. He doesn't. "What do you want?" he asks. "Accuracy," I say. "About 11:42. His mouth tightens. "You're obsessed with a number," he says. "Numbers don't lie," I reply. "People do." He paces, then stops, leaning against the wall. "You don't understand how ops works," he says. "Things move fast. They moved fast enough to remove me," I say, then moved slower when I asked why. He laughs short. "You were going to make trouble. You made the decision," I say. "Say it." He lifts his hands. "I made a call," he says. "That's leadership." The consequence lands instantly. The recorder's light seems brighter, the air tighter. "Which call?" I ask. "To protect the event," he says. "To protect who?" "Everyone," he replies. "Name them," I say. He exhales. "Claire needed access," he says. "She's press adjacent." "And I didn't," I say. "You weren't essential," he says. "Read the clause out loud," I say softly. "Essential to whom?" He shakes his head. "You're twisting this." "You twisted the list," I say. "You twisted the log." "I delegated," he says quickly. "To ops." "Ops logs show green," I say. "Your badge." He looks at the recorder, then finally. "Is that on?" he asks. "It's documenting," I reply. "That's not consent," he says. "Clearance isn't consent," I answer, repeating his language back to him like a mirror. He straightens, anger surfacing. "Turn it off," he says. "No," I say. "We're almost done." He lowers his voice. "You think this makes you powerful?" "It makes you precise," I say. "Which scares you." He laughs, brittle. "You'll ruin us," he says. "Us was ruined when you closed the door," I reply. He rubs his face. "Fine," he says. "Yes, I authorize the change." The room goes still. When I ask, "Late morning," he says. "Be specific," I say. "Say the time." He hesitates. 11:42, he says. The words fall cleanly irreversible. The recorder captures his admission, the time and room, sealing the contradiction he can't walk back. Why, I ask. "Because you wouldn't stop," he says. "Because you'd ask questions in public." "And Claire," I ask. "She needed to be there," he says. "She matters. More than me," I say. He doesn't answer. The recorder hums. "You abused access," I say. "You confined me. I kept you from embarrassing yourself," he snaps. "In a locked room," I say, "with a schedule." He opens his mouth, then closes it. "You're going to regret this," he says. "Regret is delayed truth," I reply. "I'm done delaying." I stand and stop the recording fingers steady. He steps forward. "Give me that," he says. "No," I say, slipping it into my bag. "We can still fix this," he says. "Fixing is admission," I reply. "You just made one." He shakes his head. "You won't win," he says. "This isn't a game," I say. "It's a record." I open the door. The sound of the crowd spills in applause, cresting voices overlapping. Ethan follows me out, hand hovering, not touching. "Laura," he says softer now, "please." Specifics, I say, turning. Policy hates poetry. He swallows. "I'll make it right," he says. "Read the steps," I say, out loud. He looks away. "Later," he says. "No," I say. "Now." He glances at the corridor, at people passing, at the way sound carries. "Not here," he says. "Exactly here," I reply. He clenches his jaw, then steps back, choosing retreat. My phone buzzes. "Marianne." "We have enough." Next window is the room. I nod once. Ethan watches me with a look that finally lacks calculation. "You planned this," he says. "I waited," I reply. "You planned for silence." He opens his mouth, then stops as someone calls his name. "They're ready," a staffer says. Ethan straightens mask back in place. "Showtime," he says to himself. I step aside, letting him pass my bag, heavier now with a voice he can't edit. The doors to the ballroom swing open, light pouring out the stage waiting. The recorder rests against my hip, and his confession walks ahead of him into the room. The service stairwell smelled like dust and old paint, a place people used to avoid cameras rather than face them, and I stood there with the clipboard pressed to my chest, because paper still makes authority nervous when it's organized. The incident log was clipped inside corners, softened by use, and my immediate goal narrowed to pressure force, a decision before the room reclaimed him. "You can't be back here," a junior supervisor said, peering around the doorframe. "Then close the door," I replied. "And read." He hesitated. "Read what?" "The log," I said. "The part with initials." He shifted his weight. "We're about to go live." "Then timing matters," I said. "It always does." He sighed and stepped aside, letting me pass into the small office where a desk lamp carved a cone of light. The clipboard landed flat. "Which page?" he asked. "The one marked side entrance," I said. He flipped pages, whispering. "There," he said. "Entry noted." Read the initials, I said. He squinted. "EB." "Say it again," I said softly. "Your title is supervisor, not stenographer." He swallowed. "Ethan Bennett," he said. The consequence arrived immediately. His shoulders stiffened. His eyes flicked to the door. "Time," I asked. 11:42, he said. "Location, venue, entrance," he replied. "Wristband green," he said. Then looked up. "That authorizes removal." I finished. "And list changes," he added, quieter. I nodded. "And the note in the margin." He leaned closer. "Verification pending," he read. "Initialed by you," I said. "You saw it. I wrote it because you asked." He said. "Because it was accurate," I replied. "Accuracy is neutral," he said weakly. "Neutrality favors power," I said. He rubbed his forehead. "What do you want me to do?" "Stand by it," I said. When asked, he laughed without humor. "By who?" "By the room," I said. The door opened and Ethan stepped in. Expression's smooth voice lowered to something meant to soothe. "There you are," he said. "We're minutes out." He glanced at the clipboard. "Is this necessary?" "It's decisive," I said. He smiled at the supervisor. "We're good," he said. "You can go." "Not yet," I said. "Read the header," I added, tapping the page. "Location code." The supervisor hesitated, then complied. "Back office copy," he said. "Ref code IL3A." Ethan's smile thinned. "This is internal," he said. "So is abuse of access," I replied. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You're forcing a confrontation," he said. "No," I said. "I'm documenting one." He glanced at the lamp at the way light cut the room in half. "You don't have standing," he said. "Your badge is blue," I replied. "Mine is the record." The supervisor shifted, caught between. "I need to get back," he said. "Stay," I said. "This matters." Ethan exhaled sharply. "Fine," he said. "What's your angle?" "Sequence," I said. "You authorized a change at 11:42, I continued. "The log says green. The still shows your badge. The recording captures your admission." His eyes flicked, calculating exits. "You stitched this," he said. "You left the thread," I replied. "Hand me the clipboard," he said. "No," I said. "We can still fix this," he said. "Fixing erases," I said. "I won't erase myself." He leaned in, voice tight. "You don't understand the fallout. I understand the pattern," I said. "Control, then denial, then kindness." He laughed softly. "You think the room will side with you?" "The room sides with proof," I said. He straightened. "Say it," he told the supervisor. "Say you're not sure." The supervisor looked at me, then at the page. "I'm sure," he said. Ethan's jaw set. "You're making a mistake," he snapped. "Read the clause out loud," I said. "Emergency preservation and disclosure." The supervisor took a breath. "When evidence risks deletion," he read, "disclosure is permitted." Ethan stared at him. "We'll talk later," he said. "We are talking?" The supervisor replied, surprising himself. Ethan turned back to me. "You enjoy this," he said. "I endured it," I replied. "Different." A voice crackled over the radio on the desk. 2 minutes, it said. "Positions." Ethan glanced at the clock, then at the door. After he said, "No," I said. "Before." He hesitated, then smiled thinly. "You're bluffing," he said. "I'm sequencing," I replied. "You'll step onto that stage with a lie or a record." He laughed brittle. "You won't do it," he said. I slid the clipboard toward the supervisor. When asked, I said, "Answer." The supervisor nodded pale. Ethan stepped back, eyes hard. "You're burning bridges," he said. "They were cages," I replied. The radio crackled again. 30 seconds. Ethan straightened his jacket. "Showtime," he said. I stepped aside, letting him pass the clipboard remaining where it was immovable. He paused at the door, looked back once. "You think this ends me," he said. "It ends the story you told," I replied. He left. The supervisor exhaled long and shaky. "I don't want to be in the middle," he said. "Then stand at the edge," I said. Edges tell the truth. The desk lamp hummed the light, unwavering. The clipboard stays open, initials exposed, and his escape routes shrink to a single door. The ballroom opens like a held breath, released light pouring across the floor in a clean public wash that makes faces readable and lies expensive, and I step toward the glass podium with my shoulders squared because posture becomes testimony when microphones are hot. The podium is cool under my palms, transparent enough to show nothing hidden beneath it, and my immediate goal narrows to execution, put proof where denial can't reach it. Ethan stands off to the side with the board jacket's smooth, smile-calibrated eyes flicking to the back where Victor waits near the AV rack, one hand on the controls, the other hovering as if to steady himself. "We're live," a voice murmurs, and the room settles into that particular hush that feels like a tension sharpening. "Welcome, Ethan," begins voice warm, practiced. Tonight is about transparency and trust. A ripple of agreement moves through the crowd. I feel the recorder's weight in my bag and the clipboard's absence like an open space intentional. Victor catches my eye and nods once. Before we begin, I say, stepping closer to the mic, keeping my voice even. Ethan turns, surprise flickering. "Laura," he starts. "This will take a minute," I say. "Read the room," he murmurs, teeth barely moving. "The room is reading us," I reply. Victor taps the remote. The screen behind us wakes bright and unavoidable. "This is a verification," I say, "not an accusation." Ethan smiles thinly. "This isn't appropriate," he says. "Public isn't your friend. Public is the ledger," I answer. A few phones lift. Victor brings up the first slide, a guest list header, table numbers clean and clinical. "Names were altered late morning," I say. "At 11:42. A murmur moves, curious now. "That's conjecture," Ethan says. "Read the footer," I say. "Back office, Ref L7Q9. The ref code sits in the corner, small and sharp. Alignment test." Victor says, voice steady. He clicks. The next image fills the screen, a time-stamped CCTV, still from the venue entrance badge, glinting wristband color unmistakable. "This still contradicts the log," I say. "Badge scan at 11:42 a.m. Ethan laughs lightly. "Anyone can freeze a frame," he says. "Read the wristband," I say. "Green authorizes removal." The room goes quieter. "That's ops," someone whispers. "Read the initials," I say. Victor zooms. The letters resolve. EB. A voice near the aisle says. Ethan steps forward. "Enough," he says. "This is misleading." "Say it again," I say, turning to him. "Your title is developer, not adjudicator." A few heads turn. Victor clicks again. An audio waveform appears, then a pause, then sound fills the room, clear, undeniable. Ethan's voice earlier, calm and unguarded. "Yes, I authorize the change." 11:42. The admission lands with a physical thud. A wave moves through the crowd. Laughter that dies, silence that spreads a chair, scraping as someone shifts. Ethan's face drains. "That recording was not consented," he snaps. "Clearance isn't consent," I reply, using his language without raising my voice. "Read the policy," I add, nodding to the screen. Victor brings up a line. "Emergency preservation when evidence risks deletion." "That's a misuse," Ethan says. "Read it out loud," I say. "The room should hear it." Victor reads. The mic carries every word. The projector locks on his badge and the timestamp as the room understands the order of events. Ethan reaches for the podium. "Turn it off," he says. "No," Victor says quietly, surprising himself. "We're done," Ethan says louder. "We're finished," I say calmer. Phones rise higher now, recording vectors multiplying. "This is a personal matter," Ethan insists. "It became public when access was abused," I say. "Who approved the change?" a board member asks. Ethan opens his mouth, then closes it. "I did," he says finally, anger breaking through, "to protect the event. From me," I say. "From scrutiny," he corrects. "From truth," I say. "Security," Ethan barks, turning. The doors at the back open, not rushing, not dramatic, just inevitable. Detective Helen Park steps in with 2 officers' badges catching the light posture neutral. The authority entry waits until after proof exactly where it belongs. "We're here to observe," Park says into the mic. Victor hands her voice level. "And to receive materials already presented publicly." Ethan stares. "This is outrageous," he says. "We'll cooperate," Park replies. "Sir, please step aside." The room exhales collective and stunned. "Say it again," I say to Ethan, not unkindly. "Your title is husband, not handler." He looks at me like he's seeing the edges of a maze he built. "You ruined me," he says. "I ended the story you told," I reply. Park gestures. "We'll need the original logs and access records," she says. Victor nods. "Prepared," he says. The officers move measured. Ethan's hand trembles as he adjusts his jacket, then drops. "This isn't over," he says. "It is," I say, "for tonight." The glass podium reflects the lights and our faces, nothing hidden beneath everything clear. The board confers in whispers. Someone near the aisle wipes their eyes. Phones keep recording the truth now, too public to fold away. Park looks to me. "We'll follow up," she says. "Thank you for your cooperation." I nod, stepping back from the mic, letting the room absorb what it has already decided. Ethan is guided toward the side, not dragged, just redirected the choreography of consequence, precise and calm. The glass podium stays empty as authority enters and his certainty dissolves in plain sight. The hours after the ballroom emptied moved with a strange, disciplined quiet, the kind that follows a storm when debris is catalogued instead of mourned, and I walked the perimeter of the venue with the lanyard badge folded in my palm because symbols matter when authority reassigns itself. The badge had been unclipped from Ethan's jacket by a security lead who did not make eye contact past to Victor, then to me, with a nod that said, "Procedure had teeth." My immediate goal was closure through action, not comfort, and that meant letting consequences land where they were already headed. "We're suspending access," a board member said in a low voice near the coat check. "Effective immediately. Document the scope." Marianne replied, stepping into the circle with a legal calm that steadied the air. "And the chain of approvals." Ethan stood a few feet away, hands empty now, jacket open, looking smaller without the badge's borrowed gravity. "This is excessive," he said. "Say it again," I replied, meeting his eyes. "Your title is developer, not decision-maker." He scoffed. "You're enjoying this." "I'm finishing it," I said. The security lead cleared his throat. "Sir, please return all credentials," he said. Ethan laughed once, brittle. "I already did." "Your digital access," Marianne added. "We'll need written confirmation." "Tonight," Ethan snapped. "Now," she said. Victor returned with a tablet screen glowing. "Access revoked," he said. "Email files building." Ethan's face tightened. "You can't just—" "We can," the board member said. "And we are." The lanyard badge warmed in my hand as if it had learned my temperature. I looked at it, then at Ethan. "This is the last time it works for you," I said, and set it on the counter where everyone could see. The click it made sounded final. The badge leaves his jacket, and the room exhales as power changes hands. Phones kept buzzing with follow-ups, not curiosity now, but logistics. "We'll issue a statement," someone said. "No," Marianne replied. "You'll issue records." "What about Claire?" Ethan asked suddenly, grasping for an edge. "She was acting in good faith." "Good faith doesn't authorize removal," Marianne said. "Her access will be reviewed." Ethan turned to me. "You did this to hurt me. "I did it to stop you," I said. "There's a difference." He shook his head. "You'll regret it." "Regret is quieter than fear," I replied. Detective Park returned with a small stack of forms. "We'll need signatures acknowledging receipt," she said, "and a time to collect devices." "Tonight," Ethan said flatly. "I want this over." Park nodded. "That's reasonable." The board member looked at me. "Are you all right?" he asked, genuine now. "I'm accurate," I said. "That's enough." Marianne squeezed my arm once, a brief, grounding touch. "We'll follow through," she said. "You won't have to chase this." Ethan watched us confer, then stepped closer. Voice low. "We built something," he said. "You're tearing it down." "You built a maze," I replied. "I'm opening exits." He laughed softly, then stopped. "What do you want?" he asked. "Accountability," I said. "And space." He nodded once, a concession he didn't know how to refuse. "You'll get silence," he said. "From me." "Silence isn't restitution," Marianne said, "but it's a start." The staff began to break down the room, folding chairs, rolling cables, the physical work of endings. Victor lingered by the AV rack, eyes tired. "You okay?" I asked him. He nodded. "I did my job," he said. "You did more," I replied. "You told the truth." He shrugged. It felt overdue. Outside, the night air cut clean, the city indifferent and steady. Ethan paused at the door, turned back once. "You think people will side with you," he said. "They'll side with records," I replied. "And records last." He opened his mouth, then closed it, and walked into the night with an escort who did not hurry him. The board gathered near the podium, voices low. "We'll convene in the morning," someone said. "We'll secure the logs and notify council," another added. Marianne nodded. "I'll circulate a checklist," she said. I stepped back, letting process take the space where spectacle had been. The lanyard badge sat on the counter like an artifact, inert and harmless. I picked it up, felt its weight, then placed it into an evidence bag Marianne handed me without comment. The hallway beyond the ballroom looked different now, wider. Somehow the light no longer halved by closed doors. A volunteer passed, eyes bright. "I'm glad you spoke," she said, quick and sincere, then hurried on. I breathed slow and even, noticing how my hands no longer shook. When the badge is bagged and logged, the story ends and the work begins. The venue lights dimmed section by section, a controlled shutdown that felt merciful. I walked toward the exit without looking back, the night cool on my face, the next steps already written in checklists and calendars. The door stayed open behind me because no one tried to close it. The morning arrives without ceremony, the city doing what it always does, and I stand in the open doorway of my townhouse with the velvet rope barrier coiled neatly at my feet, because endings don't need spectacle to be real. The door is open wide, light filling the hall instead of stopping short, and my immediate goal is simple, and present decide what stays and what goes now that permission isn't required. I lift the rope, feel its soft resistance, then set it aside where it can't pretend to be useful again. The latch hangs idle, untouched, a piece of hardware stripped of its authority. I breathe and notice how quiet doesn't feel dangerous anymore. The phone buzzes once. Marianne filed. "Calendar invite sent. You don't need to respond today." I type back a single word. "Received," and set the phone face down. The house looks the same, which feels like mercy. I walk the hallway, noticing details I learned to ignore, the picture frame that used to get straightened as a warning, the rug that once dictated my steps. I move freely, shoes on the carpet, shoes off choice, returning to its proper size. Outside, a delivery truck idles, the driver humming to himself. Life undramatic and relentless. I pour coffee and let it cool, watching steam thin into nothing. The kitchen window throws light across the floor in an unbroken sheet, no line dividing where I'm allowed to stand. The door stays open, and the light refuses to be cut in half again. I think about the stage, the glass podium, how transparency looked when it finally meant something. I think about the way records behave when they're respected, patient, boring, lethal to lies. The phone buzzes again, this time from a number I recognize. I don't open it. Silence can be a boundary when it's chosen. I sit at the table and make a list. Not evidence this time, just tasks, return keys, schedule, locksmith donate the suit jacket still hanging in the closet. I write slowly, enjoying the way ink obeys without argument. The city wakes up around me, neighbors passing a dog barking once, then settling. I step outside and feel the air cool and honest. The door remains open behind me, not because I'm careless, but because I can be. I carry the velvet rope to the curb and set it next to the recycling where it looks absurd and harmless. A neighbor waves. "Morning," she says. "Morning," I reply and mean it. Back inside, I open the hall closet and remove the chain the screws resisting briefly before yielding metal clinking into a box labeled discard. I don't rush. There's no clock on my back now. The phone lights up again. I pick it up finally and read the message without flinching. It's an apology shaped like weather-broad impersonal already moving on. I don't respond. I archive it not to hide it, but to put it where it belongs. Records can rest once they've done their work. I sit on the stairs and listen to the house breathe the soft pops and creaks that mean nothing is being watched. I think about the hallway light the way it used to stop short and how I didn't name it then. Naming feels easier now. I stand and open every door one by one, letting air move where it wants. The bedroom window lifts, the curtain stirs. The house answers with quiet acceptance. My phone buzzes again, a calendar reminder for a meeting weeks away. I dismiss it. There will be time. I step back to the threshold and look out at the street, the ordinary parade of lives continuing without my supervision. The rope is gone, the chain box, the latch idle. Control doesn't survive daylight, and daylight is generous if you let it be. No one reaches for the door, and that's how I know the cage is finished.